Welcome to the Divine Lifestyles Podcast. I'm your host, Tara Magalski. Together with my guest experts, I cover topics ranging from cutting-edge healing modalities to hormonal harmony, to nutrition and plant medicine, to mindfulness and spirituality. My goal is to educate and inspire so you can create your own divine lifestyle. It's time to dive inward, rewire your brain, and heal from the inside out. Welcome to the Divine Lifestyles Podcast. I am your host, Tara Magalski. Today, I am joined by Tony Paoli. Tony has a very interesting background. He is a former Division I quarterback and Las Vegas hospitality and gaming executive turned entrepreneur in the field of regenerative medicine and biological therapy. Tony is the Chief Commercial Officer of Auragens Stem Cell Center in Panama City, Panama, which is, by the way, the largest private stem cell treatment, wellness, and research facility in the world. Auragens provides cutting-edge stem cell therapy for a variety of medical conditions as an amazing alternative to traditional medicine. So thank you so much for being here today, Tony.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Tara. It's a pleasure.
So, okay, we got a lot to talk about because I want to dive deep into stem cells, but let's just talk a little bit about your story and how did you end up coming from Division I football into, regenerative medicine?
For sure. It's a long story, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Being an athlete my whole life, I was fortunate enough to be exposed to Las Vegas when I played at UNLV. And so after college, I got right into the mix in the world of hospitality, nightlife, casino marketing, that world.
What you do in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did that for a very long time, close to 15 years, working in that industry. And obviously, in that industry, there are a lot of exciting and fun things that you get to do. However, it is not, fulfilling in terms of your soul and your path, right? Your path to really understanding what your purpose is and to helping people. What happened was when my wife got pregnant with our first child, I made a choice, and that choice was to choose my family and my health over the career path that I was on. So my partner and CEO of Auragens, Dan Brace, and I, we started several businesses together over the years, including a diagnostic laboratory here in Las Vegas and a general practitioner office here as well. So we're in the healthcare space in several different verticals. But how that came to Auragens in Panama City and everything is a very personal story to me. So when I was when we were having our first child, like so many others, you get pitched would you like to donate your umbilical, or not donate, would you like to cryopreserve your umbilical cord to use it later, and in that whole scenario? I said, yes, of course. I had been doing some research and understood the benefits of stem cell therapy generally. This is 5-6 years ago, and I was very excited to do that. Fast forward to about 2 years ago, when we had our healthcare practices up and running and our laboratory up and running, my father got sick. He has pulmonary fibrosis. He's 80 years old. He has neuropathy in his feet, and he did not want to go down that traditional pharmaceutical American healthcare route and path, right? So the light bulb went off in my head, reminding me that I had cord banked our daughter's umbilical cord and cord blood. And so I, showed my father some podcasts and some literature and had him talk to our doctors here. And he was all in on the use of stem cells. So I said, great, I'm going to call the cord bank that we have our daughter's cord blood banked with, and we're going to do this procedure very naively, right? I was extremely disappointed when I was told that we could not do that because here in the United States, there's only 80 approved treatments for the use of the cord blood that we all bank for our children. And that is primarily, rare blood cancers and metabolic diseases. And that I felt misled. I felt somewhat deceived because I was under the impression, like so many others, that if we bank our children's cells and cord, that we can use it for our family members and for these conditions, right? So I thought that was problematic. Coincidentally, our chief scientist here for our laboratory, Dr. James Utley, is one of the foremost cellular transfusion experts in the United States, and talking about things coming together for a reason and everything just happening, right? When we brought Dr. Utley on to run our laboratory, opening a stem cell facility was not the purpose of that. He just happened to be an expert in the field, right? The other piece of this puzzle, our other partner, Alberto Gonzalez, is Panamanian American, and he had grown up in Panama. So we all started having conversations about stem cells and started exploring this, and we're very, very excited because we had all of these pieces already in place. But I needed to see it and experience it for myself, right? I needed to truly believe in this if we were going to make the investment, time, effort, financial, all of that, to truly, truly open up the kind of facility that we want to do. I needed to see it really, truly work, to really believe in it, right? So I brought my father down to a facility in Colombia, and 2 weeks before, I'll back up, 2 weeks before we went on that trip, 80 years old, pulmonary fibrosis, so lung issues, diabetes, diabetic neuropathy. He got COVID and pneumonia at the same time, right? Which is typically a death sentence.
That's actually how my father died. I know.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's absolutely brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So got him on the plane, got him down there. And in a very, very short amount of time, I watched the life return to this man, where I thought I was going to lose my best friend, right? I watched him get better. I watched him get better without the use of pharmaceuticals or any of the things that we were told were the only options here in the US, right? And when I was down here, and it was a great facility we went to, I watched a lot of other people from all walks of life in all different conditions also getting better, right? And I watched people with smiles on their faces enjoying these treatments, right? So when I got back, and my partners had already been down to Panama several times, and we were going down this path, right? But for me personally, I got back and I just said, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to this. This is it for me. I have found my purpose. I have found my calling. And all I want to do is give others what I just received with my own father, right? So we went all in. I'll stop there because I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, that's amazing. And that
Yeah.
just leads into the next question, which was like, what is the mission you touched on it with Auragens, and I know why you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so personal to you and you saw your father's healing. But what's the real mission behind this facility that's doing all these cutting edge research and treatments?
The mission behind this is to provide treatments that cannot be done here in the US that should be able to, and to bring as much research, whether it's clinical trials or studies, and everything we're doing down there with the international medical community collaborating with us. Because that anecdotal story that I just told you about my father is great, but it means nothing for the advancement of this and the ultimate approval of these treatments to be allowed in the United States. That is our mission and that is our goal, right? We love Panama, but you shouldn't have to come to Panama to get this treatment. That is our opinion. And it is only going to be opinions and anecdotes until we do what we need to do, which is get everybody on board with as much evidence and data as possible to break down these silos and break down these barriers with these incredible biological products, to help as many people with all different types of conditions as possible.
You're preaching to the choir with me, because I know they're doing cutting edge things all over Europe and all over the world. And why do we not have these same technologies in the States? So let's talk a little bit about the differences between the US stem cell medicine versus what you can do at Auragens in Panama.
Yeah.
And then I really want to figure out, I want to talk, we can be a little conspiracy theory or whatnot. I want to know why. Why do you think that the States have the restrictions?
Yeah. So great questions. And it needs to be discussed, right? Because there is a lot of information, misinformation, snake oil, and truth. And if you, it's a landmine if you Google stem cell. If you just type in stem cell therapy on Google right now, your head's going to explode, because you're not even going to know what's what. So what is legal here in the United States is autologous, meaning self-derived stem cell treatments, where they pull from your adipose, which is your fat, or your bone marrow, for orthopedic injuries, typically, right? And the difference of what we do in Panama is we take mesenchymal, umbilical-derived stem cells, meaning we take the umbilical cord from healthy C-section births, where the mothers are donating their cords to us for the advancement of this science under informed consent. Inside of that umbilical cord are the richest and most potent form of healing stem cells called mesenchymal stem cells. Okay. Going back to the States. So in the States, if you take your own stem cells, they are of the age of the patient. So I'm 41 years old. So are my stem cells, right? So are the cells. The key difference is in the US, they do not allow culture expansion. And what that means is, very simply, they don't allow you to take what exists and make more of them. At Auragens in Panama, we can take brand new day zero cells that haven't been exposed to any of the impurities, the toxins, the lifestyle, the degradation, the aging, right? These cells literally just created a human life, protected it during birth, grew it, and we take those cells and we can make hundreds of millions of those under complete expansion and guidance and inspection to make sure that they are in fact pure mesenchymal stem cells. We can check the viability, and give you this product that was intended to do two things really, really well, right? The first is seek out any inflammation and reduce inflammation, and two, modulate the immune system. Those are the two factors and functions that it does. In the United States, if you're taking 41, 50, 60, 70-year-old cells, the potency and the viability is going to be a fraction of what we can do down in the US. Now, why, you ask? That can't be done. we can go down, our conspiracy theory rabbit holes. The bottom line is what we do down there works very, very well in certain situations.
So what types of conditions are you seeing the most at Auragens?
Yeah. So we see a variety of conditions. If you ask me the most, it would be orthopedic conditions, autoimmune, autism. We see quite a bit of autism in children, pulmonary, so lung issues, and also cardiovascular as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Also neurological conditions. It's all different types of conditions, diseases, ailments, injuries, and then also we have a large patient base that's really, really looking for healthy aging, right? They simply want to come down there. I'm going to use a funny term. I call it an oil change, right? But to be infused with 150, 200 million brand new day zero cells to help your body to regenerate and recover from injuries and ailments that you might not even know you have. We see these folks that are coming down here because they feel so good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been following stem cells for a couple of years now, as I told you before, that I think that they're doing a lot of really amazing cutting edge things in Colombia for fertility. I'm super excited to come down and visit you in Panama. It's happening, 2024.
Absolutely.
It's happening. I'm putting it out there. And I do know that like once you get these stem cells in you, it's almost like, how do you say? It's like it will fix whatever it needs to fix inside the body. Right? Is that a great, a correct way to explain it? That the stem cells actually go in and repair areas, like you'd said before, that you don't even know need to be repaired.
Yeah, it's through cell signaling, right? So typically, and I'll just take you through what a typical treatment looks like intravenously. So down there, we are able to provide intravenous infusions, right? And so once the cells enter your body, the first place they go is the heart and lungs, because obviously the lungs is the distribution center of the body. So from there, the body will call on the new cells through cell signaling and say, hey, I need some help over here, right? We're experiencing inflammation in different areas. What we've seen is we have patients that come for one thing and not even put the other on the medical history form or tell us about it, and then come out of a treatment room, sometimes with tears in their eyes, telling us about this symptom that they no longer experience that we didn't even know about, right? We had one patient that was suffering from tinnitus in his ears, horrible ringing in the ears for 17 years. And he was there to get his shoulder worked on, right? Through intravenous and injections in his shoulders. And he was in red light therapy for about 20 minutes. And he comes out and he literally had tears in his eyes. We said, what's wrong? He said, nothing. It's quiet. We said, what are you talking about? He started explaining to us that for 17 years, he had been suffering from tinnitus. And he noticed that while he was in our red light therapy room, it was quiet and it was silent. And we all teared up, and we couldn't believe it, because he was in pain. He was suffering. This was bothering him chronically for so long. But because it was an inflammation-based condition, the cells were called to that area to quiet that inflammation, so he was able to not experience that ringing in his ears. And that happens all the time, where we call it off-target effects. So we have all of these off-target benefits. That's really, really incredible.
I've got an exciting offer for all of my listeners. the free Divine Daily Practices video series. Get simple practices to release anxious thoughts, sharpen your intuition, and rewire your nervous system in less than 10 minutes a day. Come on over to my website at divinelifestyles.com/divine daily practices. And over the next week, you'll receive a complimentary self-care system to drop into your authentic self and activate your divine intuitive wisdom. I hope you enjoy. So tell us a little bit about, the staff there, the expertise of the doctors. Tell us about the team.
Yeah, we are blessed to have some incredible medical and scientific staff members. Um, our chief scientific officer, Dr. James Utley, comes from Johns Hopkins, and he's from the American health machine, and worked for that entity for a very long time, and he's got probably over 150,000 cellular transfusions of all different types of cell products here in the US, and he's worked for the Department of Defense and all over. But so we're blessed to have him, and he is a unicorn in the space that oversees our the manufacturing of our cell product and the laboratory itself. Um, our chief medical officer, Dr. Carlos Diaz, has been working in fertility and is one of the top fertility docs in all of Latin America. He oversees our cord collection program. So between his patients and his colleagues' patients, we have a robust umbilical cord program that he oversees. Our medical director, Dr. Christian Diaz, also a Johns Hopkins doctor, is the physician that our patients will see. And the great part about it is our patients get to speak to these individuals directly before they arrive. You're not speaking to a salesperson. You're not speaking to anyone but the people that are making the medicine and administering the medicine, and your actual doctors. Beyond that, we've got a host of medical professionals from Stanford, Columbia, Mayo Clinic, Notre Dame, Pepperdine, Baylor. Just a very robust group. I believe we have over 85 years of collective cell medicine experience under our roof, and we're blessed to have all of these people. But the most important part is they're extremely passionate about helping others, right? That is our mission. We're not a slave to the insurance companies here in the US and just doing what we're told. We're doing what's best for our patient and our patient outcomes. It's as simple as that.
Tell me a little bit about the different cell products that you have, because I know that there's different types. You can do 50 million, 100 million. Like, just walk us through a little bit about some of those offerings.
Yeah. So we offer, like I said, it's saying the word stem cells like saying a car, right? There are many different types of cars on the road. We use human umbilical mesenchymal stem cell products, right? We also use a biological product called exosomes. Exosomes think of exosomes as like the medicine that the stem cells shoot off once they get into the body, right? So those are the two biologics that we work with. Typically, a patient will receive a dose of 100 to 200 million intravenous cells in doses that are spread out throughout the week. Our treatment is a week-long protocol, and then we will examine them based on their medical history and consultations and see if they need exosome products infused through intramuscular injections, intraarticular injections, or nebulized. And we do nebulization of exosomes. Exosomes are different than cells. They are much smaller, so they're able to break the blood-brain barrier when inhaled and nebulized. So for conditions like autism or any neurological conditions, we would administer in between 10 and 20 billion exosomes through nebulized treatment in combination with the stem cell IV.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
And I know that you do more than just stem cells.
Yeah.
You have a complete
Yeah.
wellness facility. I've
Yeah.
seen, showed me pictures. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing, state-of-the-art luxury too.
Yeah.
Walk
Yeah.
us through, like, I know you also do retreats. So what does it look like if I come there? Walk me through that experience. I come there, what do I get for a week?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's a great question. That's a great question. So yeah, so it starts even before you arrive. So we send a welcome kit with some, it's called redox cell signaling supplementation. So we're priming the body before you even arrive with some really innovative supplementation. We send you a mind performance packet to get everything mentally ready and checked out, because obviously it's nerve wracking, right? You're coming to a foreign country. We want you to be in the right state of mind. We send you a nutrition guide, so we work on your nutrition before you arrive. Um, Panama City is a very safe and vibrant place. So you arrive at the airport, Black Car Transportation picks you up, takes you to the JW Marriott, which is a 5-star property right on the water, 2 infinity pools on Sunday. You get to chill, relax, enjoy the property, go out to any restaurant that's either on property or off, and we'll curate that entire experience. On Monday, you come in, you get a tour of the facility, you meet your medical staff. We plan your whole week as far as everything outside of the facility, and then treatment begins. And treatment begins typically with what we call our treatment enhancement series. And this is where we really separate ourselves from some of the other places, where we want to prime the body to make it optimally ready to receive these cells and have the cells go everywhere and function at their highest level. So you'll receive hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, red light therapy, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, a new therapy called shift wave, which, if you haven't heard of that yet, is very, very cool. And I'll send you a link to experience that, as well as vitamin IV, and that's and blood testing and vitals. And that's day one before you receive cells. After you get done with that therapy, we take you on a tour, on a cultural tour of Panama. So we'll take you through the Panama Canal to the old city of Casco Viejo, and really let you culturally immerse and understand where you are and learn the culture, so that you're relaxed and you're feeling great. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you'll go through that treatment enhancement protocol. So the hyperbaric, red light, PEMF, and shift wave, but that's when the cell therapy starts. So you'll get your 50 million or whatever is prescribed in terms of dosage, intravenous cell therapy, as well as any injections you need, which are always ultrasound guided on any joints, knees, shoulders, hips, elbows, feet, or nebulization on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And every night, we have an incredible patient executive staff that's curating dining experiences, spa treatments, anything that you need while you're there. I may have retired from the Las Vegas hospitality industry, but I still understand how to take care of people and give them that 5-star luxury treatment, which is what they experience when they're with us throughout their entire time. You're hosted like a VIP here. So it's an incredible week of wellness. In addition, we never wanted this to be a sterile medical, just a medical treatment, right? We wanted to go well above and beyond that to make this a true week of wellness, so that you're not just getting a bag of cells. We're priming your body. We're making you feel incredible, and we're going above and beyond from an experiential standpoint.
Can people drop in, or is it only the week-long programs?
Yeah, so it is a week-long program, because from a protocol standpoint, we really want to get the intravenous cells in before we start doing anything else in terms of injections. So this is a holistic approach and a systemic approach to healing, right? We're not putting Band-Aids on bullet holes, right? We want the immune system to be really focused on from that IV protocol, and not just, like I said, putting Band-Aids on bullet holes. So yeah, it is a week-long protocol.
I love that saying. It just made me giggle. Um, so if people, right, and I'm going to ask you this hard question, like some people are like, oh, I really would love to do this, but maybe the price point is a little bit too high for them. Do you have any alternative financing options? Like, how do you work with people that really want to come there that might not be able to afford it?
Yeah, so we do, we absolutely can work on, in terms of, if you're looking to book a trip, right? Um, and you want to come, 6 months from now, we can absolutely work in with payment plans and things like that to make this palatable for your experience.
Yeah, I just wanted to be conscious, because as people are listening from all over the world, everybody has a different financial situation. And my mission with my company is to make holistic health and healing accessible to more people. I find that in this day and age, the acupunctures, all these things that we pay a lot of out of pocket for, and all these alternative medicines that we do in therapies, like the EES therapies, a new thing I'm doing now. It's amazing, but they're not covered by insurance, right? So a lot of people are paying out of pocket. And I find the reason why people in the States are so sick is because, not everyone can afford to take these amazing opportunities. So I love that you're offering some sort of payment plan so you can reach more people.
Yeah, and it's our entire goal is everything you just said, right? You should be able to get this treatment and everything that we are doing with your insurance card. Like that is that is our goal. That is our endpoint. To your point on the you know affordability,
Mhm.
we also have created a charity called Foundations, where we seek to help two groups, and that is parents of children that can't necessarily afford this treatment, that suffer from autism, cerebral palsy, or any other chronic illness, and also veterans that have been injured, obviously, and can't afford this treatment as well. And we just had one of our first veterans come down to Auragens, and it's an incredible, incredible story. His name is Elliot Ruiz, and he's a former Marine. Purple Heart rescued 7 POWs in the invasion of Iraq. Experienced a brutal, brutal injury during his time serving our country and saving lives. He's very young. He's 35 years old, I believe. He's got a 3-year-old daughter, contracted MS, and could barely walk from his back injuries and the surgeries that he had. And through Foundations, we were able to put him on scholarship and bring him down to Auragens. And I encourage everybody to look at the videos, both while he was down there and what's happened to him now. I'm literally getting chills talking about this, because for the first time since his diagnosis, he's been able to actually sleep through the night, and get a good night's sleep. His symptoms have improved close to 90% in the 3 months since he's been home. And all he wanted to do is obviously be there for his daughter and raise his daughter, and everything that he's given for us and we were able to give that back. So we absolutely do have a charity arm function of this as well.
Amazing. I love
Yeah,
that. Thank you for
yeah,
mentioning that because we hadn't discussed that prior. So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
And so just tell us a little bit about you. What is next for you? I love that you mentioned that, like, you see this being something that you're going to strive for to be covered by insurance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I spent some time, on your backstory before this podcast and before we met, and you talking about how you just found your purpose and everything was, you were in corporate America and killing it. And that really resonated with me because same, um, everything in my life other than my family is dedicated to this mission, right? It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than everything. Like this treatment needs to be accessible to as many people as humanly possible. When you see patients come down in pain with a glimmer of hope, right? Because they've been so frustrated and so disillusioned with the treatment recommendations, with the treatments, with the American medical system, and that has failed them. And the hope that is restored in them after they receive treatments for conditions that they did not believe were treatable anymore. And when you give these people, they go from being in tremendous pain to not, and you watch that happen in front of your eyes. It changes you, right? And it changes what your priorities are. And so I'm 100% all in and dedicated to this mission. Our entire team is, because it's something that, like I said, it's just bigger than any of us. It's an absolute joy to bring the hospitality aspect of it into the treatments too, because I get to show people an incredible experience, right? Um, it's expensive, right? It's not a small investment, but well worth it in the end if your goal is to achieve something that can't be done here in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. Has there been a link at all in the stem cell research between stem cells and cancer and being able to cure cancer?
Yeah. So I want you to have Dr. Utley on because he can
Yeah.
talk to you at length about this. Um,
Yeah.
the kind of stem cell that we use, mesenchymal cells, are not aren't like I said before, right? Different cars. There are absolutely cells that are treating cancer today in the U.S. Under trial basis and everything, but it's just not the mesenchymal cell product that we use for inflammation based and regenerative type conditions and diseases. But it's definitely something that we are absolutely actively looking into based on the experience of our medical staff, and that's phase two. So
I love it.
absolutely,
I
yeah,
love it. And it
absolutely.
makes sense, right? Because inflammation is key, right? So it would be a nice combination to have both.
No,
Because with
absolutely.
any
One,
disease, there's inflammation. So yeah, I'm so happy that you are here today. Just please let everyone know where they can find you online to learn more about your work, learn more about Auragens, and tell them a little bit about the giveaway that you're offering for
yeah,
anyone who wants to come down to Panama.
no, absolutely. So the best place to get as much information on Origins is our website. It's www.auragens.com, AURAGENS.com, as well as at the Origins on Instagram. And you can email me direct any questions. It's Tony, Tony, at origins.com. I'm happy to speak to any of your listeners or friends or family members or anybody about this. Like I said, I love talking about it. And then as far as the giveaway goes, any Divine Lifestyle podcast listeners that mention the word divine, um, whether it's email or they just give us a call, we're going to give them, if they book a treatment, a free Oracell facial, which is a complete game changer. Like I said, no pharmaceutical products whatsoever involved. It's bio restructuring, bio revitalization, and exosomes. A facial treatment that is combined with hyaluronic acid scaffold that is amazing and incredible. for regenerative skin and collagen reproduction. And so, yeah, so happy to have anybody down and take advantage of that promo code.
Thank you. And guys, the facial is valued at $5,000. So if you're interested, you can always DM me at Tara Magalski at Divine Lifestyles. You guys can always comment. My email is taramagalski@divinelifestyles.com. And I'm happy to put you in touch with Tony and help you on your path to wellness. So thank you so much for being here, Tony. I'm so excited. I'm going to plan my trip in 2024.
We're so excited to have you. We can't wait to have you in Panama. Thank you so much for having me. This has been incredible. Your mission and everything that you're about is obviously completely aligned with Auragens and what we're about. So it's been awesome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Divine Lifestyles Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your episodes. If you really loved this episode, screenshot it and share it on social media. It will help us to continue to make an impact. With gratitude and love always, keep illuminating your path.